Mysterious World presents 10 Most Dangerous Roads in the World. Number 10. Zojila. Oljela Pass, located on the Indian National Highway 1 between Srinagar and Leh, is Oljela Pass, in the western section of the Himalayan mountain ranges. Around 3,528 meters, 11,649 feet, above the sea level, the pass is 9 kilometers from Sonamarg and is an important link between Ladakh and. This pass is considered to be the second highest pass after Fatala on the Srinagar-Leh National Highway. At the peak of the winter season, most of the times, it becomes inaccessible, but the Border Roads Organization (BRO) works to extend traffic in most of the time of the year. The beacon force is that unit of the BRO, which takes care of clearing and maintaining the road during winter season. At the time of the Indo-Pakistani War in 1947, this pass was seized by the Pakistani raiders in 1948 while they were in the wake of capturing Ladakh. Later on 1 November, Zojila Pass was captured by Indian forces under Operation Bison. Once you reach the pass, you are going to have an amazing view of the mighty Himalayan mountains, which makes the ride worth. This pass witnesses the heaviest snowfall during the winters and thus remains closed to traffic for around 6 months in a year. This 434 kilometers long highway stretch is the lifeline of Ladakh. After Kargil War in 1999, the government paced up the construction of the road due to its strategic importance. Number 9. Transfagarasan. The Transfagarasan was constructed between 1970 and 1974 during the rule of Nicolae Ceausescu as a response to the 1968 invasion of Czechoslovakia by the Soviet Union. Ceausescu wanted to ensure quick military access across the mountains in case of a Soviet invasion. At the time, Romania already had several strategic mountain passes through the southern Carpathians, whether inherited from the pre-communist era, the DN1 and the high pass DN67C, or built during the initial years of the communist regime, the DN66. These passes, however, were mainly through river valleys, and would be easy for the Soviets to block and attack. Ceausescu therefore ordered the construction of a road across the Fagaras Mountains, which divide northwestern and southern Romania. Lower section of the road built mainly by military forces, the road had a high financial and human cost. Work was carried out in an alpine climate, at an elevation of 2,000 meters, 6,600 feet, using roughly 6 million kilograms, 5,900 long tons, 6,600 short tons, of dynamite, and employing junior military personnel who were untrained in blasting techniques. Many workers died. Official records state that only 40 soldiers lost their lives, but unofficial estimates by workers put the number in the hundreds. The road was officially opened on September 20, 1974, although work, particularly paving of the roadbed, continued until 1980. The road climbs to an altitude of 2,042 meters, 6,699 feet, making it the second highest mountain pass in Romania after the Transalpina. It is a winding road, dotted with steep hairpin turns, long S-curves, and sharp descents. It is both an attraction and a challenge for hikers, cyclists, drivers and motorcycle enthusiasts. Due to the topography, the average speed is around 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour. The road also provides access to Bailey Lake and Bailey Waterfall. The road is usually closed from late October until late June because of snow. Depending on the weather, it may remain open until as late as November, or may close even in the summer. Signs at the town of Curtada Arges and the village of Cardon provide information. The Transfagarasan has more tunnels, a total of 5, and viaducts than any other road in Romania. Near the highest point, at Bailey Lake, the road passes through Hualien Tunnel, the longest road tunnel in Romania at 884 meters, 2,900 feet. Along the southern section of the road, near the village of Erfu, is Poenari Castle. The castle was the residence of Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Count Dracula. The northern section is used for annual cycling competitions, including the Tour of Romania, and the 22 km section to Bailey Lake has been used since 2011 for the Sibiu cycling tour. These sections are considered to be similar in difficulty to or category climbs in the Tour de France. Number 8. Dalton Highway. James W. Dalton Highway, usually referred to as the Dalton Highway, and signed as Alaska Route 11, is a 414-mile, 666 kilometers road in Alaska. It begins at the Elliott Highway, north of Fairbanks, and ends at Deadhorse near the Arctic Ocean and the Prudhoe Bay oil fields. Once called the North Slope Haul Road, a name by which it is still sometimes known, it was built as a supply road to support the Trans-Alaska Pipeline system in 1974. It is named after James Dalton, a lifelong Alaskan and an engineer who supervised construction of the distant early warning line in Alaska and, as an expert in Arctic engineering, served as a consultant in early oil exploration in northern Alaska. It is also the subject of the second episode of America's Toughest Jobs and the first episode of the BBC's World's Most Dangerous Roads. The highway is the featured road on the third, fourth, fifth and sixth seasons of the history reality television series Ice Road Truckers, which aired May 31, 2009 to present. It is also the subject of the second episode of America's Toughest Jobs and the first episode of the BBC's World's Most Dangerous Roads featuring Charlie Borman and Sue Perkins. Polar bears are known to traverse the Arctic region of Alaska and can be seen wandering the outskirts of the Dalton Highway. If that occurs, the Alaska DOT will shut down the road in the presence of polar bears. The wandering is an indication that a polar bear is on the hunt and has been known to attack people in defense or even prey. Google Street View has coverage of nearly the entire highway, which can now be seen on Google Maps. Imaging stops at the security gate leading to the Prudhoe Bay oil field. It is one of the most northerly routes of Google Street View in North America. Number 7. Khardung. Khardung is 39 kilometers by road from Leh. The first 24 kilometers, as far as the South Polu checkpoint, are paved. From there to the North Polu checkpoint about 15 kilometers beyond the pass the roadway is primarily loose rock, dirt, and occasional rivulets of snowmelt. From North Poluvan to the Nubra Valley, the road is very well maintained, except in a few places where washouts or falling rock occur. Hired vehicles, 2- and 4-wheel drive, heavy trucks, and motorcycles regularly travel into the Nubra Valley, though special permits may need to be arranged for travelers. Khardung is at times incorrectly cited as the highest vehicle-accessible pass in the world. A well-graded Indian military road, visible on 2011 imagery on visual globe systems such as Google Earth, reaches 5,610 meters, 18,406 feet 250 meters west of the 5,545 meters, 18,192 feet, Mana Pass on the India-Tibet border. It connects with an equally well-constructed, slightly lower Chinese military road based on SRTM data at posting intervals of 30 meters. There are also higher motorable passes at Zojila, west of Lhasa, 5,430 meters, 17,815 feet, and Samola 5,565 meters, 18,258 feet, between Raqqa and Kokon in central Tibet. GPS and SRTM data confirms these elevations, The latter was measured by an expedition supported by the Cartographic Institute of Catalonia, Spain. Vehicles have been driven over the 5,582 meters (18,314 feet) Marsimikla, in the Indian Karakoram to the northeast of Khardung, but it is debatable whether this pass should be considered to be motorable. In November 2017, BRO, Border Road Organization, claimed a new 19,300-foot world-highest motorable pass at Oljela, 32 hours 42 minutes and 79 hours 16 minutes c. But examination of the course of this dirt track on Google Earth shows that its actual height is closer to 5,800 meters, 19,029 feet. Number 6. The Atlantic Ocean Road. The Atlantic Ocean Road, or the Atlantic Road, Norwegian, Atlanterhavsveien, is an 8.3-kilometer, 5.2 miles, long section of County Road 64 that runs through an archipelago in Idendavroy in Møre og Romsdal, Norway. It passes by Hustadvika, an unsheltered part of the Norwegian Sea, connecting the island of Avroy with the mainland and Romsdalshalvøya Peninsula. It runs between the villages of Karvagon-Avroy and Vivanganita. It is built on several small islands on skerries, which are connected by several causeways, viaducts and 8 bridges, the most prominent being Storsejøen Bridge. The route was originally proposed as a railway line in the early 20th century, but this was abandoned. Serious planning of the road started in the 1970s, and construction started on August 1, 1983. During construction, the area was hit by 12 European windstorms. The road was opened on July 7, 1989, having cost 122 million Norwegian krone, of which 25% was financed with tolls and the rest from public grants. Collection of tolls was scheduled to run for 15 years, but by June 1999 the road was paid off and the toll removed. The road is preserved as a cultural heritage site and is classified as a national tourist route. It is a popular site to film automotive commercials, has been declared the world's best road trip, and been awarded the title as Norwegian Construction of the Century. In 2009, the Atlantic Ocean Tunnel opened from Avroy to Kristiansand. Together they form a second fixed link between Kristiansand and Molde. Number 5. The Guoliang Tunnel. Guoliang Tunnel is carved along the side of and through a mountain in China. The tunnel links the village of Guoliang to the outside through the Taihang Mountains, which are situated in Huixian, Xinjiang, Henan Province of China. The village was named after a fugitive rebel during the Han Dynasty, who had fought an overwhelming imperial force to a standstill utilizing the extreme local terrain. Before the tunnel was constructed, access to the nearby village of Guoliang was restricted to a difficult path carved into the mountainside. The village is nestled in a valley surrounded by towering mountains cut off from outside civilization. To ease the villagers' access to outside world, a group of villagers led by Shan Mingson made plans in 1972 to carve a road into the side of the mountain. They sold their livestock to raise funds to buy tools and materials. 13 villagers began the project, with one dying during construction. Without access to power tools, they undertook construction mostly with hammers and chisels. At the most difficult stage, the tunnel progressed at a rate of 1 meter every 3 days. It is 1.2 kilometers, 0.75 miles, long, 5 meters, 16 feet, tall and 4 meters, 13 feet, wide. The tunnel opened to traffic on May 1, 1977. Its creation has turned the village into a tourist attraction. The area has also been used as a film location. Number 4. Yungas Road. North Yungas Road, also known as Groves Road, Korowakol Road, Camino a los Yungas, Death Road, Road of Death or Road of Fate citation needed, is a road leading from La Paz to Coroico, 56 kilometers, 35 miles, northeast of La Paz in the Yungas region of Bolivia. In 1995 the Inter-American Development Bank named it as the world's most dangerous road. 123. In 2006, one estimate stated that 200 to 300 travelers were killed yearly along the road. 3. The road includes cross markings on many of the spots where vehicles have fallen. Citation needed. The South Yungas Road connects La Paz to Chilumani, 64 kilometers, 40 miles, east of La Paz, and is considered to be nearly as dangerous as the North Road. The danger of the road made it a popular tourist destination starting in the 1990s, drawing some 25,000 thrill seekers. 6. Mountain biking enthusiasts in particular have made it a favorite destination for downhill biking since there is a 64-kilometer, 40 miles, stretch of continuous downhill riding with only one short uphill section. There are now many tour operators catering to this activity, providing information, guides, transport and equipment. Nevertheless, the Yungas Road remains dangerous. At least 18 cyclists have died on the road since 1998. It was featured on the BBC show Top Gear, Bolivia Special, Episode 6 of Top Gear Series 14, where the hosts traveled 1,610 kilometers, 1,000 miles, from the Bolivian rainforest to the Pacific Ocean. 8, 9, 10. A Mitsubishi Outlander TV commercial was the first ever filmed on the road. The second season of IRT, Deadliest Roads, a spin-off of the History Channel series Ice Road Truckers, follows 6 North American drivers as they haul cargo along the road. The road featured in the third episode of Hamish and Andy's Gap Year South America on Australia's 9 network in 2014. The road also featured on the BBC show World's Most Dangerous Roads in Series 3, Episode 3. The episode starred Phil Jupitus and Marcus Briggs-Tuck and first aired Wednesday, January 9, 2013 on BBC HD. The popular American overlanding team Expedition Overland stated on July 26, 2017 in a Facebook post, "The infamous death road in Bolivia. Let's do this." The team was known to be filming in the region at the time for their upcoming South America series. Josh Gates was driving on the death road in an episode of Legendary Locations. Number 3. Tianmen Mountain Road. The Tianmen Mountain Road knows how to pack a punch. At just under 6.2 miles in length, the route boasts a total of 99 turns and 3,937 feet in elevation gain. The road, which is also called Heaven Linking Avenue, leads to the summit of Tianmen Mountain and to Tianmen Cave. Number 2. Eshima Ohashi Bridge. Eshima Ohashi Bridge located in western Japan, the Eshima Ohashi Bridge looks more like a roller coaster than a road. It links to the city of Matsu in Tianmen Prefecture to Sakeiminato in Tottori Prefecture and is basically a highway to outer space, a shortcut to vomiting from nausea, making driving over this thing one seriously thrilling car ride. It's one of the most spectacular bridges in the world. The bridge is a 2-lane concrete road. It rises so sharply it gives the bravest drivers the fear, featuring a ridiculously steep slope that allows ships to pass underneath it. The concrete road spans a mile and sends drivers soaring into the sky at the very sharp gradient of 6.1% across Lake Nakami. The bridge is 1.44 kilometers long with a width of 11.3 meters. It is the largest rigid-frame bridge in Japan. If you look straight onto the bridge, the ridiculously steep incline makes it look more like a roller coaster than a road for cars to drive on. It stretches about a mile long with a height of about 144 feet and a 5.1% and 6.1% grade on each end. The bridge has an insanely steep and terrifying slope that's tall enough to let ships pass underneath it with ease. It is a stretch of road that has freaked out even the most confident drivers, as it looks like an insane roller coaster. Cars gradually ascend, making it less scary for drivers than the bridge appears when photos are taken from a straight-on angle. It's been nicknamed the roller coaster bridge because of its super steep slope and appearance of being a bridge to the sky. Number 1. Le Passage du Gois. Passage du Gois is a natural passage with a length of 4.3 kilometers, 2.58 miles, located on the Atlantic coast of France in the Vendée department. This stretch of the D948 road is periodically flooded, leading to the island of Noirmoutier in France. It is flooded twice a day by the high tide. Pack an inflatable boat for driving this 4.3 kilometers road, because just say for some crazy reason you mix up the tide times, then, like vehicles in the past, you might disappear beneath the salty brine. Located on France's Atlantic coast, the road floods twice daily with incoming tides, and as the tides go out, slippery seaweed is left all over it. Passage du Gois, also known as Gois, is located between Ile de Noirmoutier and Beauvoir-sur-Mer, in the department of Vendée, and it's one of the routes that connects the island to the mainland. The Passage du Gois is an extraordinary location in France and a national monument. The 4,150 meters long causeway is only accessible with the low tide, and then only 1.5 hours before the lowest tide and 1.5 hours afterwards. The stone-paved causeway was first used during the 16th century and is still used daily by tourists and locals. At high tide, the road lies under 1.5 to 4 meters of water. To drive on this road, ask about the tide times. In all cases, follow the advice given on the panels installed at both ends of the passage, which will tell you if the road is passable or not. It is prohibited by law but tolerated, however, to dwell on the foreshore. It is also strictly forbidden to park on the pavement. To avoid skidding on this slippery road, drive more slowly, to avoid having to brake suddenly when needed. In general, operate the vehicle controls slowly. In case of dense fog, turn on your headlights and your fog lights front and rear, if available. When this paved sandbar that's flooded twice a day at high tide isn't submerged, this narrow causeway flanked by fishing boats and littered with errant clumps of seaweed is a slippery stretch indeed, and especially treacherous on two wheels. This road has been used several times on Tour de France. This causeway is so unique that you cannot encounter it anywhere else in the world. The 4,150 meters long causeway is only accessible with the low tide, and then only 1.5 hours before the lowest tide and 1.5 hours afterwards. The Passage du Gois is an extraordinary location in France and a national monument. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and please subscribe our channel to watch more videos like this.